Welcome back to the campus of West Virginia State University and the Coach's Corner. I'm your host, Lee France. Fans, it's now time to meet our next guest, junior David Wissler. David, thanks so much for coming in. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Tell me a little bit about yourself and how you got into football, David.
Well, I'm from Toledo, Ohio. I have 3 older brothers and a little sister. I played sports my whole entire life. Got to high school, wanted to try something new. Figured I'd try football.
And that's unusual for someone to go that long without trying a sport. But I guess coming from soccer, you also mentioned you played a little bit of soccer.
Yeah, I played soccer since I was probably 7 or 8 years old. Got to high school, played. I knew they needed a kicker, so I figured I'd go give it a try.
And talk about, if you look familiar to the people who are watching, you've got a brother who plays here, Craig, and he's the kicker. How did that relationship go growing up with your brother, and you guys both into soccer, both into the same sports?
It's been fun. Always had someone to play with and to train with. Just always having someone at your back to help you. If I do something wrong, he can help me, and vice versa. It's just nice to have that person be your support system.
Tell me a little bit about how you found West Virginia State, or how State found you, and how you made it here.
Well, I went to Toledo out of high school, and then my brother was home from his junior college looking at some schools. He was looking at Grand Valley, and West Virginia State came up, and he needed someone to go visit with him, so I decided to go with them, and then they found out I played, and the rest was history.
What did you like about either the area, the campus? What was it that turned you on about West Virginia State?
I like the small atmosphere. We came from a private school our whole life, so we've never really been in a big school, so West Virginia State just really fit our personalities very well.
I guess, did you ever think about playing any other position? I know you come from soccer, it's pretty much kicking, that's what you're going to do, but was there any other dreams that you had?
I tell Coach all the time I want to go play safety, but he won't ever put me in.
He's not going to let you do that?
Nah. He said maybe if we had another punter, but...
Now, I don't know if you can do this or not, but could you put into words what it's like to, to have that perfect punt, to get off a perfect punt, pin someone deep, or even a pooch punt that the team needs?
It's really just everything has to be perfect. You need the perfect snap, and then you need your blockers to hold up, and you can tell when it comes off your foot. Sometimes it'll roll off just perfect, and it's fun just to watch it go.
So there's the highs of the perfect punt.
Yeah.
Now what's the lows of the shanked punts? What's that feeling like when you have to walk to the sideline and your teammates have just watched you shank one?
Yeah, I think the worst part about it is you let your team down. And then what stinks too is as soon as it leaves your foot, you just already know. You just kind of put your head down and make the lonely walk.
One thing Craig mentioned last week was you get to hold for him as he's a kicker. Did you guys practice that growing up even, and then it transferred here to State?
It really didn't start until he started playing football, and then I would go to the park, hold for him. He would do the same for me, and we would just work on it. And then the past summer, we would always work with our long snapper, and then I got so used to it, and we just built up a great chemistry.
Can you took over for Nick Mullins was actually the holder, I guess, for a year or two, but you finally convinced Coach, you were the guy for the job, the brother. Talk about what that was like, getting that position back here.
It was nice. It's more time to get on the field, and it's just something else I get to share with my brother. It's kind of cool out there, just have me and him kind of go do our thing.
Have you been involved in any game-winning field goals yet or anything like that?
I have not. I hope I will this weekend, though.
That's right, against Shepherd, no question about that. What kind of mindset do you think you have to play your position, the punter? You don't know when you're going in, if you're going in, type of thing.
You just really have to go. You can't dwell in the past. You got to go on each punt trying to give it your best, because every punt could be a game changer. If you shank it or if you get one blocked, it could really hurt the team.
Now, you had one blocked this week. Tell me a little bit about that play and what happened.
I'm not really sure what happened. They said it just came right up the middle and someone had missed their block. It's unfortunate, but hopefully we'll have it fixed this week for Shepherd.
Oh, yeah, Shepherd is going to be a tough challenge. We'll talk about them coming up here in a little bit. How difficult has it been as a punter, standing on the sideline and watching this season unfold and no wins yet to date?
It's tough. I wish I could go do more. I've always been competitive my whole life, and so to just sit back and only do one thing it's rough, but I just cheer and support as much as I can.
Where do you think you have improved over your few years here at West Virginia State?
Probably just my consistency. In the previous years, I kind of been a little sporadic, and I've really settled down a lot this year, and my average has went up compared to years past, so I feel a lot more comfortable.
And what has been the downfall of this team from your perspective?
I think it's just the youth and inexperience. We're making a lot of just plays that are getting blown, and just defense and offense haven't clicked yet as a whole in a game.
Did you feel the same as kind of we all did as Yellow Jacket fans this past weekend against Glenville, that the ball bounces a couple different ways, it's going to be a Yellow Jacket victory?
Yeah, I mean, that was a close game. We were real in it, just one or two plays away, I think, or having a couple stops, and we had that game won.
I always like to ask, too, who's given you the most beneficial piece of advice, either about football, about combining football and college? Just what are you holding on to get yourself through this, through your football career?
I really think my brothers and my parents, they've been a great support. They help me in school, try to help steer me on the right path, like in sports and in school.
Now, are your other brother and your sisters, are they involved in athletics, and what do they do?
One of my older brothers has a doctorate in physical therapy, and he does a lot of athletic training. He's who helps me out a lot, gets me in shape. Just our whole family's pretty much played sports our whole entire life. It's just been something we do.
Very athletic and competitive then.
Yeah.
Your average, if you look at the stats, 35.8 yards, and again, that can be, who knows, where you're at on the field. Mm-hmm. How do you feel like you are doing personally this season?
I mean, I always feel like I could do better, and I strive to do better. I think stat-wise that might be my best year, but we have a lot of inside the 20s and a lot of touchbacks, so it's kind of hard to look at an average to determine how you're doing this year. What
is the hardest thing, I guess, about punting the football that the average fan watching on TV or watching from the sideline doesn't realize? They think, the punter, the kicker just goes out there, big deal. What's the most difficult part?
They just don't realize how much involved really goes into it, because if the snap's off, it throws it off, and then the wind really plays a huge part. It'll mess with your drop, because if that starts turning, that's when you're in trouble and the shanks start happening. And that's kind of what happened last week. There was a big wind, and the ball turned on me, and I just got away. If you're
coaching a young kid, let's say, to punt the football, what's the technique, or what do you do, or who has helped you, or what piece of advice there has helped you?
You really just got to stay relaxed, because kicking is all form. Mm-hmm. And if you start getting all sporadic and trying to kill the ball, then everything's going to go bad on you. You just got to sit back and relax on it.
So the biggest piece of advice to punt is just to relax and take it easy.
Just to relax.
And let me ask you a little bit about Shepherd this week. The top-rated team in the conference, coming in at 6-0 in the conference, 8-0 overall. The 12th-ranked team in the country. Coach mentioned earlier in the program, there's not really much you can say as far as a speech that needs to be said to you guys to get up for this game. But tell me a little bit about what you know about Shepherd coming in.
I know they're pretty good. I know they have a really good return man. I think he's returning on me my previous 2 years. So I really take some pride in hoping that don't happen again.
And that brings up actually an interesting point that I wanted to ask you. When you punt the ball and they're coming to it and everybody else has missed them and they always like the punter's the last line of defense. Yeah. Do you take some pride in that, though, and getting a hit on somebody?
Yeah, I kind of like it because I don't ever get to hit. I mean, I take a couple hits and I don't ever get to try to give it back out. So, I mean, I hope it don't happen, but it's kind of fun. Keeps it interesting.
Yeah, no question about that. Now, let me ask you a little bit about what Coach Monroe has meant to you. I know you've got your special teams coach, things of that nature, but as a head coach, and a lot of players have mentioned him as a father figure and teaching you guys more how to be, young men away from the game. But in your own words, what has he meant to you?
He's just really helped me out a lot. Our first year here, we kind of have a hard time moving down and getting everything organized, and he was the first one there for us. We'd call him anytime. He'd be there to come help us move or just anything we really needed. That's been really important to us.
And let me ask you, too, about where you came from, Toledo, coming this way. Mm-hmm. Do we have any other brothers or sisters that are going to be able to come to West Virginia State and kick the way you two have done?
No, I'm the youngest boy, so after
that's
me
going to be it?
Yeah, maybe when I have kids, but after me it's going to be done for a little while.
What do you think you're going to take away? I mean, you've got another year, but what are you going to take away so far from your experience here at West Virginia State?
Really just overall, it's just been a great experience. I've learned a lot from the people. They've helped me settle down, just trust everything, and it's just been a great experience.
Well, Dave, we sure hope you have a great rest of the year. We're looking forward to a Yellow Jacket victory this weekend, and good luck to you.
All right, thank you.
Thanks so much. We really appreciate it. That's going to wrap up this edition of the Coach's Corner here on the campus of West Virginia State University. I want to thank my guests, Earl Monroe, Michael Thompson, and David Wissler. Join us each and every Thursday night at 7 o'clock for the latest on Yellow Jacket football. Until next week, I'm Lee France, saying good night and go Jackets.